Sup fellow nerds, it is good to see you and welcome back! The 60th anniversary specials of Doctor Who have begun and the first one, The Star Beast, aired tonight. And I'm gonna not mess around, we're gonna go straight into it. I don't have much time to get this video turned around, so we're gonna jump straight in. So kicking things off, I actually quite enjoyed that intro of the Doctor and Donna musing about their past lives kind of directly to camera. It didn't have that same kind of contextualization, that same kind of connection as like Ryan talking about his gran in a YouTube video, but it worked to kind of relive the past. They could have easily done just a normal previously on Doctor Who and just showed archival footage with a voiceover. That would have worked, but this was just that extra little flourish. Then we get to the new theme. The theme, love it, no notes. The title sequence, I really think that left a lot to be desired. Like, conceptually, sure, but it needed a few more 100 hours in the render oven, really. I know that the timings had all changed to make the sequence shorter, so like the names don't come in at the same point where the melody kicks in like they used to, but it also means the logo kind of comes in at a really arbitrary point in the music. But speaking of coming in, what was that animation? It looks like it was something out of a PowerPoint. And also, could they have made the BBC logo any bigger? I don't want to sit here just slagging off the VFX artists who obviously put their time and effort into this sequence. I just really felt it could have had that little bit more polish. Back to it, no messing around, the Doctor bumps straight into Donna, and every single time that Rose is mentioned, the Doctor shits himself. Even when the context as to why Donna is shouting Rose is actually introduced in Rose Noble, when Sean starts shouting Rose, the Doctor shits himself again, and I love the fact that he just kind of freaked out because everything was happening at once in front of him the moment he left the TARDIS. And speaking of the Doctor and speaking of Sean, that taxi ride was really our first kind of insight into the 14th Doctor, because they get talking about the lottery win that they obviously had because the Doctor made it so. He set it in motion at Donna and Sean's wedding. What happened to all of the winnings? Well, as it turns out, Donna actually used the money to buy them a house and then gave the rest of it all to charity, which is a very noble thing to do. But the Doctor's reaction wasn't what I expected it to be, because put it like this, David was on the One Show and he said that he is playing the Doctor again, but he's not playing 10 again, he is playing 14. And this is that first look into how those two characters are going to be slightly different. Because in that context, I would have thought the 10th Doctor would have been like, that's my Donna, always thinking of other people and being all brilliant and stuff. 14's reaction was a little bit more, okay, I went through the effort to get you this lottery ticket to kind of set the rest of your life in motion, a life that I feel I've kind of ruined because of the fact you had to forget everything and you're now on the brink of death if you think about me and all that sort of stuff. So when the Doctor finds out that Donna kind of pissed away all of her winnings, I mean, not pissed away, it was to charity, but 14 didn't really know how to compute that, which I think is one of the first, and hopefully not last, subversions of the 14th Doctor's character. There are still, obviously, the 10isms in there, but this is a new Doctor, and I'm really excited to see how that pans out over the next 2 episodes. Otherwise, Tennant is Tennant, and he's bloody brilliant, isn't he? There is this new maturity to 14. Like I said, there are those 10isms going, but he is not the same Doctor we saw return in Day of the Doctor, for example. That was 10. This is somebody new. And even when opposite Donna, I'm not seeing 10 speaking to Donna, I'm seeing another Doctor coming face to face with an old companion. You know, like say 13 coming in touch with Tegan and Ace in The Power of the Doctor. That kind of dynamic feels like it's here. I'm not seeing 10, I'm seeing 14. So, spaceship crash lands, Doctor does some snooping, unit turn up and keep everything hush-hush, Meep rocks up in an escape pod and is taken in by Rose, and what's he doing with the Sonic? Are we suddenly reliving the magical floating pencil days we had in year 2? Oh no, he's summoned a display out of thin air, looking at the schematic of the parked, not crashed, ship. It sounds very Aliens of London to me, but they've got a lot more VFX budget to flex. Okay, Sonic is doing new stuff, it's got a few new tricks up its Sonic sleeve, you know just how much I love that happening. But I mean, Surely he's not going to do something really stupid, like really Deus Ex Machina-ing himself out of a situation. Like, I mean, I don't know, he summons shields out of thin air to get him and his friends to escape a crossfire or something.
What? He does?
Oh. Prior to that, though, we had a lovely reunion with the Noble Temple, Sylvia always being a wonderful comical spoil to the Doctor, sometimes even more so than Donna. The Doctor patches up a very innocent-looking Meep, and I definitely didn't crack any grasp your mandrakes firmly jokes while Meep was speaking. Miriam Margolyes, what a fantastic casting just for the banter. It's like Matthew Lillard in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. You get Miriam Margolyes in, bums are going to be on seats. We have those aforementioned factions all fighting and chasing after the Meep, and everyone escapes through lofts. We didn't really know what was going on at that point. The dialogue felt kind of muddled with the rest of the noise. They dash out into the street, and the Doctor checks a fallen unit soldier's pulse, and it all falls in place for him. Spoilers, I mean, most people have known this for decades because The Star Beast is a comic strip from 1980 that this whole thing has been based on, but the Meep is actually an arsehole. I wonder how many instances of like swears, and especially the C word, they had to cut out of Miriam Margolyes' like recording session for the Meep once it had turned. I mean, Russell, I need the Miriam cut of the Star Beast with all of that profanity left in, please. Love the Doctor turning an underground car park into a makeshift courtroom, and any utterance of the Shadow Proclamation just always sounds so awesome. And we've come to just accept the Doctor keeps all sorts of nonsense in his pockets, even a barrister wig. Meep is a baddie, shoots the warriors dead, and takes everyone captive. Now, destroying London to fuel Meep's ship is a bit of a so-so threat. I mean, even with the Doctor in play, you never think it was going to come to fruition. That real sense of peril wasn't quite there. And while I have obviously already been very critical of the sonic screwdriver in this review so far, I am so happy that the sort of more final resolution thing that was going on featured the Doctor using his arms, feet, hands and legs all inside the spaceship at all times. More things need to be deadlock sealed for just a better resolution experience. And then we come to Donna. Now, Donna is one hell of a mother. I don't think any of us would have doubted that at all. Secondly, Donna is, again, a brilliant comic foil to the Doctor. We all knew and accepted that. Donna is still Donna. Obviously or technically post-Doctor, but kind of smells like pre-Doctor Donna. Can't say Dr. Donna too quickly, we'll get to that. But Catherine Tate still continues to just portray her perfectly. I really did enjoy how her dialogue, her way that she's starting to remember the Doctor gets woven into her dialogue. Like those points when you'd think she'd say one thing, it would be subverted and another thing would get said instead. Like, you know, I did this to be like him being the Doctor, assumedly, and then just blurting out the Doctor's name, and Sylvia, as we did as well, going, he hasn't said his name yet. How did you know? Yeah, honestly, sublime dialogue throughout. I mean, that was one of the weakest parts of the Chibnall era, and you just kind of don't realise how much it can make or break an episode until it's back on your plate. And it's great, it's good soup. While the resolution plays out simply because an arbitrary wall splits the control room in two, and I can definitely question that, I really wanted Donna just to knock 4 times, just to really hammer us down when we've been living on this, oh my god, is it 2008 again high. It worked enough to make the Doctor have to do something he really didn't want to do. Hats off to David and Catherine during these scenes, and while they were very, very fleeting, you could really feel the emotions they were going through. The Doctor is probably having flashbacks to the End of Time Part 2 with Wilf on the other side of more glass, also having to constantly relive the fact that Donna almost fried her brain and he had to save her by losing her, and is about to lose her again. Donna is, as said, a caring mother wanting to save her daughter from this potential end at the hands of one of Jumba's experiments who didn't quite end up in Hawaii, and is willing to give her own life to save her, even though she doesn't quite know how or why this resolution will kill her. Unless she has got an inkling. She is starting to remember. I think that's more her maternal side kicking in, but go Donna. The Dr. Donna is back, and that line gets a big spotlight to make the fans wee a little, and the Meep gets blasted into fucking space. Oh wait, no, there's a parachute. I'd really hoped the Doctor had just done a much more technological drop kick the fucker into space, but oh well. But that's not all. The Dr. Donna had a little help from one Rose Noble. Now, I've not seen Heartstopper, but my wife has, and she says that Yasmin Finney is brilliant. And having now seen The Star Beast, yeah, I am very excited to inevitably see more of her come the giggle. I really appreciated how Rose and her surroundings were handled in this episode. Everything from her immediate want to help Meep, her characterization, to the front and center jeering of those who know but don't respect her. We were shown her personality and shown her plight. Doctor Who is political. It always has been. I also really loved the conversation between Donna and Sylvia about their daughter and granddaughter respectively, especially the fact that both Donna and Sylvia say they've slipped up from time to time. Now, I have trans friends, right? I know people who are trans, and I know them who've been trans since I've met them, or I've known people who have transitioned while I've met them. Some of my friends went from she to they to now he. And I've slipped up. I've slipped up on pronouns from time to time. We all have. We correct ourselves, we move on. Representation in media is immensely powerful, hence why people were so excited to see Yasmin Finney bring Rose Noble to life in these anniversary specials. But it's also massively important to just keep everybody on the same side. As somebody has said who has slipped up with pronouns before, I was really happy to see this be included in the sort of the episode's discourse about trans identities. Russell added this nod to the reality of those not within it, but coming to understand the trans community. We're not here to hinder, we just need a moment to kind of wrap our heads around things and get used to it. And that scene shows that kind of step for people who want to be allies to the trans community, we have to get over it, and that's okay. I think that, along with Yasmin Finney being cast as Rose Noble in the first place and having that identity in the show as well, is a huge step for Doctor Who, especially knowing that so much of the show's fandom is in the trans community in some way, shape or form. All of that in less than an hour. Good shit, Russell. Finally, getting around that hurdle of not killing Donna off and making the meta-crisis stuff hereditary was actually kind of brilliant. It meant there was a solution to the pickle the Doctor and Donna found themselves in within Meep's ship, as well as a solution to Donna not actually dying and allowing these two further specials to continue. The link of binary, non-binary lines between Donna and Rose felt a little bit on the nose, but I did really respect that when the concept of discussing gender around, the meta crisis and Time Lord society and all that sort of stuff, the fact they're just sort of above it all was respected, and I really like that. We are binary, she's not, because the Doctor's male and female and neither and more. Well said. Then Donna and Rose just shook off the impending doom meta crisis stuff. And while I get that it's been split and diluted and is therefore a tad more survivable, just shaking it off felt a little anticlimactic. All that, and while I've just said about how the dialogue respected the Time Lord Society stance on gender and being above it all and all that sort of thing, they had to throw in that male presenting line at the expense of 14, that shaking off this energy is something he couldn't do because he looks the way he does, even though we've basically just established that stance is kind of irrelevant. I just thought that after all of that stuff that I've just said, Time Lord Society and gender and all that sort of thing, that line just felt completely unnecessary. I get wanting to kind of poke or woke the bear of, people who really don't like the fact that society have moved on without them. But yeah, I didn't think that was really needed. Anyway, I really did enjoy the Star Beast overall. We got that big nostalgia kick like it's 2008 all over again. And the new and returning characters were done justice. I'm sure we're going to see more of Unit's Shirley. I hope she's got more tricks up her wheelchair. I mean, she's got gadgets and stuff, that's super cool. That new TARDIS interior is so big and stupid and I love it. I mean, it's got RGB for goodness sake. That means the Doctor's getting a few more FPS when he kicks back between scrapes to play Counter-Strike 2. The production on the show remained top notch, and while DNEG are no longer in play for the show, the effects still look pretty damn good by Doctor Who and TV standards. It played a few easy cards and it did keep things pretty grounded, but to be honest, for part 1 of 3, that's totally acceptable. If this were the special, I would have very much left feeling very underwhelmed. But it's not. And if it were a singular special, I don't think it would have been an adaptation of The Star Beast. It wasn't perfect. I mean, I had a few gripes, as to be expected, and while I am, very openly a big simp of the Russell T Davies era, the fact that I had issues with this episode kind of hopefully goes to prove that you can kind of trust my judgment on Doctor Who. I still came into this with an open mind, ready to be praising and criticising. I mean, it's not my first rodeo, but it is my second era of reviewing Who, because I only started during the Chibnall era. But yeah, so if you like what you see, please do subscribe if you haven't already. David is back, Catherine is back, Russell is back, Doctor Who's back, and I am super stoked to see what comes next. The Wild Blue Yonder is apparently really scary, and that's something that I really have felt that Doctor Who's been missing over the last God knows how many years. A genuinely scary episode. And an 8 out of 10 for The Star Beast, I think. I nearly forgot to do the rating because it's been over a year since I last reviewed the show, but yeah, 8. But what did you think? Sentiment, from what I can see, has been immensely positive across the board, but I want to know your honest thoughts down in the comments section below. Be respectful, don't go being a twat about it. Once again, please do subscribe to this here channel if you haven't already. If you want to know how this got here, then Escaping Castebris is back, and we've done a bumper episode that came out yesterday as of recording, so please go and listen to that. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week.